right, welcome to season 2, episode 9 of the Neutral Zone. Today we got some really exciting things, and we've actually taken 3 weeks off, right, Stomps?
Yeah, but we had to come back for sweeps week.
Yeah, exactly. Back by popular demand.
Oh
So
yeah,
we
millions out there.
we're very sorry to the fans who have been trying to tune in every week, but we just wanted to give you a taste of what you miss. So that's why we took those 3 weeks off. It's our way of doing our own test on how many people are enjoying and loving the show, and it's off the charts. We're just really humbled by the support we get, the emails, the text. I mean, I couldn't get back to all the people that were interested in us restarting. So thanks everybody. Today we got a very special guest on the show. We got John Scully, president and operator of Glencoe Deck Hockey. You want to say hi, John, before we'll do the
Hey, everyone. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here, my friend. We're very happy to have you. We're going to cover some important things today. We'll probably talk about a little bit about what's been going on with the Wednesday League. There's some big news. We're going to be resuming play at Palatine on Monday and Wednesdays. We're not going to get too deep into that. Frank sent some emails out already on how that's going to run. And then we're going to probably use it as a little warm up to get back into the regular play. Talk a little bit about the return of Woodridge this morning. But without further ado, I'd like to get us going on. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
On some really important news in the world of hockey. Sad news. However, we just want to send our deepest condolences out to the family of Walter Gretzky, as you know, the father of the great one. What I'd say is the greatest hockey player to ever live. I know that there's debates on that, but to me, he's the greatest hockey player of all time. Talk a little bit about who he is as a person. I think we have some personal experiences here today and his nature. Do you guys want to say anything about Walter Gretzky?
Well, to me, it's his relationship with Wayne it reminds me of Earl and Tiger Woods, right? You know, Tiger Woods, the greatest golfer of all time, and his dad was an integral part of his career. And certainly Walter, I mean, Walter is really well known up in Canada, obviously. Very beloved figure up there. And so there, I see a lot of parallels in the father-son relationships there. And then, you know, I think the difference is when Earl Woods passed away, Tiger was obviously still very much active with his career. You know, Wayne's been retired for a while now, but yeah, certainly sad news. And you know, the hockey world has been celebrating his life in the last weekend.
He certainly seemed like an outstanding person who did a lot for Wayne and his other brothers who played, his family, and for the game of hockey. And sure, you're the dad of Wayne Gretzky, but that's not always an easy task being in that position. I think he handled it really, really well and gave a lot to not just the game, but to the world. So it was nice to see Wayne say a couple of nice words the other day about his dad and what he meant to him and the game of hockey in general. So definitely tough to see that, but well said.
Yeah, no, well said to you as well, Scully and Stomps. Listen, I have a personal experience with Walter Gretzky. In 2005, I was actually traveling from Detroit back to Toronto. I was on a flight, and we were stuck. There was a snowstorm in Detroit, and we were stuck in the Detroit International Airport. And I happened to meet Walter Gretzky in the airport, and we were in the lounge. And it was back 2005. My son was 2 years old. I remember that. And Walter Gretzky, telling you, man, it was amazing. He actually walked around where everybody was sitting, waiting for their flight. Everybody, you know, when your flight is delayed, you're in a bad mood. You just want to get on your flight and everything. He walked up to every single person and he shook their hand and he introduced himself.
Wow.
He said, "Hey, I'm Walter Gretzky." Most of the people knew him, but you got to understand, like hockey, the way it is, not everybody knew who he was. But he came up to me and he shook my hand and we started talking and he started telling me about, his life and everything like that. And I still remember this conversation. I asked him, I said, what'd you do with Wayne to make him so great? Like, how did Wayne get so great? And you know what he told me? It was really interesting. And I'd love, Scully, just kind of given how you've really went pretty far in your career with hockey. I'd just love to get your perspective on this because his philosophy was he had said that he had built a pond in it. He had like big land in Brantford, Ontario, and he'd built a pond. He said, the great one, Wayne was out there all day, and they were having hot chocolate and marshmallows and everything like that. And he said that the one thing that was different from when Wayne grew up to how hockey is now is he said it was not as structured. He said they just went out there and played and had fun and they were creative and they didn't feel like they had to stay with a certain structure. And he goes, I'll tell you, that's one of the gifts that I could give Wayne, just playing in an unstructured environment. And he went further, Scully, to say that hockey nowadays, his opinion, and this is back in 2005, and I bet you it's even elevated now,
Sure.
is he was saying it's so structured and it's taken away, it's compromised the creativity of the game. How do you feel about that?
That's a really good point because nowadays, especially, you see these kids, they're scheduled for workouts and training and on ice, off ice, on the 5-on-5 on the floor, the deck, whatever it may be. And there's always a coach there in their ear telling you got to do this, you got to do that. But a lot of these practices, sure, you have some skill work, but they're mostly structured towards the team aspect and how the team works together, and you don't get to work on those little skills and moves and skating things that you get to do when you're out on the ice or the floor, just working on your own. And that's where a lot of the little things come in handy that the coach doesn't have time to work with each individual kid and tell them, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. And that gives you the creativity to figure out on your own what works and what's not. And if something doesn't work, no one's yelling at you. You just try something different until it does. So I definitely am a big believer in letting the kids do their thing and not force them to do it, because if you're forcing them to do it, they're less likely to want to get in there. But if it's on them and they can do it and they want to do it and they fall in love with it, that's really the name of the game there.
Right, right. We're going to get into that a little bit with you later on because I also know you're coaching as well for the hockey, the high school team. So you probably have some pretty good philosophies on that and coaching and how to get the most out of players. I mean, no one did it like Wayne behind the net, right? Like in his office back there.
Sure.
Unbelievable. Stomps, anything you add on Walter? I know you said some really good things about the comparison with Tiger's dad. I mean, just outstanding guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll obviously be missed, and certainly condolences to his family. But to touch on what you were saying, back in the '70s when I was a kid playing not just street hockey, street everything. Um, you never had the adults were never hanging over your head. You never had officials. You made up games. You got creative. You officiated your own games. It was on merit, and you would do the right thing. And today you have a lot of helicopter parents that are, they're on their kids. They're watching all the games. They're at the games. They're misbehaving. They're yelling at the officials. It's well documented what happens these days. But
Too much
you
pressure.
know,
Too much pressure.
yeah, there is a lot of pressure, I'd say, on the kids. Just let them play, and they'll find their way. I think there is a lot less creativity. I think that's a point well taken.
I also think, and I'm sure you see this a lot, Scully, too. It's like the emergence and the blow up of social media. I mean, you can't do anything without it being caught on film or camera or someone tweeting about it. And kids got to be conscious of that kind of stuff. Whereas before they'd play in the backyard, they'd make mistakes, they'd go home and nobody would hear about it after. You know what I mean? It's like now there's so much going on with that.
Sure, there's good and bad about all of it. Where nowadays, hey, you can look up a YouTube video or a skills move and work on different things that maybe you didn't think of, that it's out there in social media. But like you said, there's that other aspect where everything's recorded, or every game's recorded, even from might onward, and people have the stop clock out saying this kid got 10 more seconds of ice time, things like that. But I think a lot of people in the game are doing a lot of good with it, and it's opening up to the game, getting more eyeballs on the game, getting people involved that might not have originally been exposed to it. So that's the good side of it.
Yeah. No, you know what? Way to go, Scully. You got to hand it to you. Always looking at the positive side. That's awesome. Well, speaking of positive, I mean, let's talk about what we don't want to be positive, right? Like we don't want people to be positive with COVID, right? But what we do want to hear is what I do want to share with you all is some really good news here. We're keeping track of the folks that have been vaccinated, as you know, and we like to show the viewers of the Neutral Zone how we're doing in terms of vaccination. Now, I will tell you that this is great. This is a great illustration of the folks that have been vaccinated. So let me start with letting you know that we actually have here some new vaccinations. We have Dave Schmiel, who's recently been vaccinated as well. He's got his first dose. So congratulations, Dave. We're happy for you. I believe you got the Pfizer brand, so good for you. You might be able to replace that hat you have there with the Pfizer visor. Then we Tommy Broughton, or Tommy Broughton. Thank you, Tommy. Special call out to you for giving me the information I needed to get vaccinated. So Tommy got vaccinated a few weeks ago. Good for him. I think you're close to getting your second dose. I was fortunate enough to get vaccinated as well. I got the Moderna dose. I'm going for my second one in a week from Thursday. So happy about that. No real significant side effects. And then the most recent vaccination is my co-host here, Stomps Stompanato. Stomps, how you doing with that?
No issues at all. It was a incredible operation out at DuPage County Airport. They took over a airplane hangar, and it was smooth sailing going in there, very well organized. They did a little orientation with a doctor who said a few words, and then they lined you up, and bang, it was over with. And they had an area where you could hang out for 15 minutes afterwards just to make sure no real bad adverse effects. And they had water and snacks for everyone, so no complaints here. I'll be going back less than 3 weeks now, 2 weeks.
Very cool, very cool. So the likes of Dave Schmiel, Tommy Broughton, myself, and Stomps, we join Steve Givens, Larissa, Dante, Freddie, Carlo, and Art. So what I'd like to say with that is there are a couple more folks that have been vaccinated. However, due to privacy regulations and HIPAA and all that, I didn't get their permission, so I wanted to respect that. But we should be filling up this slide pretty quickly in the coming days and weeks. Okay, all right. So we've already had our good friend John Scully, the owner and operator of Glencoe Deck Hockey, talk to us a little bit about his thoughts. However, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to conduct a very special interview here with a special guy who's going to talk to us a little bit. Let's get to know Scully a little bit. And then what we do want to spend the bulk of time is give Scully the opportunity to talk about his new and exciting league that he's hosting in the North Shore, which is easy to get to. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I'd like to welcome you formally, Scully, to the Neutral Zone. This is your first time on the show.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. We're really excited to have you. Stomps is going to conduct the interview as usual. And I'll probably just take this slide off so that we can go into full screen mode. So welcome, Scully.
All right. Thank you very much.
So Scully, I mean, you grew up in the Chicago area, right?
Yes.
So tell us, you're a little youngster. How old were you by the time you laced them up for the first time? Are you one of those that was 2 years old, literally shuffling along the ice, or a little bit older? Were you a late bloomer?
Yep. My dad played a little hockey and was certainly into it, and ended up getting me into the game. I'd be watching the Hawks back in the 90s when they weren't as good as they've been in the last decade. But yeah, he got me involved in the game at an early age, just skating on the pond down at the Park District, and then ended up starting to get a little more interested in the game and skating and picking up a stick, just playing hockey in the basement, and then eventually played youth hockey at the Glenview organization, and then continued on from there. Played high school hockey at St. Viator High School, and then played at the University of Illinois for college, and then bounced around the minor leagues, playing for the last 5 years, and definitely met a lot of good people and some interesting characters along the way. And I'm excited to still be involved in the game and getting this deck hockey stuff going.
I didn't realize you played at St. Viator. So you're a fellow East Suburban Catholic Conference
Exactly.
athlete. I played at well, I played baseball and soccer at. We didn't have hockey at Holy Cross High School in
Cool.
River Grove. It doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, but same conference. So
Really a fun conference.
yeah, and a lot of good teams too, right? I mean, did you get to play teams like Carmel and
Sure. Yeah.
Loyola?
All of them. All of them. Yeah. Some really good teams. Your Fenwicks were mixed in there. Your Loyolas, Mount Carmel. We played in the Catholic League, and then we played in it was called the Metro North League at the time. Now it's the Scholastic Hockey League for the high school level, and it's really great. High school hockey is continued to improve every year, and there's a lot of good players and coaches out there. So certainly nice to see the game growing that way.
So at what point did it become apparent in your mind that there could be like a little bit of a future here for you? Like, were you were you a big prospect in high school, or when you moved on to U of I, or?
No, nothing too crazy. I just loved the game and wanted to keep playing. So it was my senior year at St. Viator, and I was applying to a couple colleges that some had some okay club programs and things like that. And I was thinking about going to play juniors, but if I went to go do that, it would have been another year or two of playing hockey, which would have been great. But I ended up getting into the University of Illinois, who had a really good ACHA team, just came off a couple of national championships. And I was like, hey, this looks like a good spot to go, and good education, and nice and close in state. And went there and had a blast for 4 years. And once I was there, was enjoying it, and ran into a couple of guys who had played afterwards in some of the minor leagues, and figured I'd at least take a crack at it. And fortunately, it worked out.
So take us behind the scenes of playing some pro hockey, at the minor league level. What was that like? I mean, are there any notables you played against in your years?
There were a couple of guys who had played in the NHL and then came back and played in the Federal League that I played with, and then I played in the Southern Pro League for a little while. And Scott Darling's one of the goalies who played for the Louisiana Ice Gators. This is before I was in the league, but he ended up working his way up from the Louisiana Ice Gators all the way to winning the cup with the Chicago Blackhawks. So nice to see a guy like that make it.
And a local guy too.
Right, down in Lamont, Illinois there.
Exactly. So, I mean, but what's it like? Is it just a lot of bus rides and
it's basically college hockey without the college. So
that Southern League, I was looking at a map of it. I mean, it's like a lot of the southern states, but then it's also Illinois, Indiana.
Sure.
It's kind of interesting.
It's as north as Quad City, and as south as Pensacola, Florida. You go all the way out to Roanoke, Virginia on the east, and Quad City and Peoria here on the west side. So yeah, it's a pretty broad scope on the map, and a lot of bus rides, but a lot of fun with the guys on the bus. That's for sure.
Have you ever had to travel internationally at all for any competition?
When I was playing in the Federal League, we went to there's a team up in Canada that we'd cross over the border and play them. There was a team called the Akwesasne Warriors who were there before I was in the league, and then they were the Cornwall Nationals for a couple of years. So yeah, just right over the border and a nice trip up there. And then deck hockey wise, played in a couple World Cups, or made the World Cup team in 2016. Played in Montreal, and then I was still playing professionally in Quad City for the ice hockey. And but that team went out in 2018 to Bratislava, Slovakia for a tournament as well. So it's nice to get a little traveling in there all across the states and a little bit up into Canada there.
Excellent.
Would the next level have been the ECHL?
Correct.
Perhaps?
Yes.
I mean, did you get close to that? Getting there?
I was in camp with the Indy Fuel, who's the Blackhawks
Right.
ECHL affiliate below Rockford. So I was in camp with them for a little bit and made it past the first couple cuts and had a good showing. And it's one of those things where it's pretty tough to make it unless you're signed and things like that. But it was a really great experience to kind of jumpstart the season, play with some high-end guys, and then get me started for when I went back down to the other leagues.
What are give us like your thought, because you've obviously played high-level ice hockey, high-level deck hockey. Give us a little comparison. What do you like best?
I like that you can do both of them. First of all, with the different seasons.
Right.
Of course, ice hockey I've played a little bit longer, but along the way in playing the ice hockey, I met the guys who I'm business partners with for this deck hockey, and they're two brothers from Quebec, Pat and Nick Quebec, and they were telling me about this deck hockey stuff, and they were just so fanatical about it. And I ended up going to their location and checking it out and had an absolute blast there and realized it's really good training and you're using your athleticism and staying in really good shape and meeting a lot of good people along the way. So I really do like that, both deck hockey and ice hockey are similar in that, if you're a hockey guy, you're a hockey guy or girl, it's kind of the same breed where if you're in the hockey community, it's a really good group of people.
Hey, Scully, in terms of kind of what you commit your time to, do you do anything else outside of this Glencoe? Like, are you working in another job? Like, what? Tell us what
Sure.
you're doing. Get to know that.
Right. So yeah, I work full time. I have an office job doing bearing sales with there's my high school hockey coach who
Okay.
I was playing high school hockey at St. Viator, and my coach there now is the head coach at Glenbrook North High School. And so when I was done playing professionally the last year, he just said, "Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to get back into the game and do some coaching this year?" So I ended up coaching. I'm coaching the JV team at Glenbrook North High School, and got in there, and it's been an absolute riot with all the kids. And at that time, he offered me a job at his company too. So I was very, very thankful to get in that. So I've been doing that for the last little while, and certainly enjoying that. So working that job, and then I'm doing the coaching for the Glenbrook North JV team, doing some skills for the Northbrook Blue Hawks organization, and playing some ice hockey when I can, and getting the deck hockey league going. So certainly enjoying the game and making the most of it, especially during these times.
Certainly a busy guy. I mean, you got your hands in all sorts of different pots. That's remarkable, Scully.
I appreciate it. Yep, just having fun.
It's gonna keep your hair red, not gray.
I hope so.
At least keep your hair. So let's roll into talking about Glencoe. Last year I had a chance to go and play there. I played there once at the little rink, and and I want to say it was like right before everything shut down.
Yes.
Because stuff was happening. I mean, the pandemic was happening, but we somehow got a game in one night, and really loved it. 3-on-3, great floor. There's some boards and glass, which is really cool. Just a nice little setting in that area, and really enjoyed it. And I'm sure you were all psyched to get things going, and then
Sure.
of course everything gets shut down. So which is a bummer, but now there's light at the end of the tunnel. What can you tell us about the league that's going to be starting up?
Yeah, well, first of all, it was great having you guys out there. We were getting a couple of scrimmages in, um, and then all the COVID stuff hit. But I'm excited that the league's starting up now, and like you said, the league, it's 3-on-3, and it's at the Glencoe or the Watts Center in Glencoe Deck Hockey, and it's on the studio rink, which is 100 by 55, so about the size of a basketball court, tennis court. As you guys know from playing out there, it's the pace is pretty good, and there's no bad shots out there. So you could be standing in front of your own net and taking a shot on net, and there's traffic and things like that. So it's nice that it's fairly compact. The ball tends to find you, and the goalies are certainly seeing a lot of shots.
Right.
And I certainly like it because it's quick pace, and you're working on your skills. And even the ball gets along the boards, some good little board battles and competition and body positioning, things like that. So it should be a fun season, and we're getting started up here the first week of April.
Well, what I like about the Glencoe, so I've been out there twice. Thanks to Scully for having an invitational for those.
Hey, thanks for coming out.
Yeah. No, we enjoyed it. I actually brought out the DHS the hockey team, my son and his friends, and they loved it. And what I really like about like Stom said, it's just a really nice, well maintained rink. But it also, I think it's pretty inclusive. I think this 3-on-3 deck actually, what I like about it is it's not super big. So some of the older guys who want to sort of play in a good stick handling and they can move around with the puck can really be successful there. And also the younger guys can also really get into it too because it's quick, right? It's quick passing. It's honestly I loved it. I enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that we can put in another team. So all the youngsters out there that are watching this today, I know we got a couple of guys from the DHS high school. I'm sure you've talked to guys from Glenbrook. Uh, they're gonna love it. I mean, I can't wait till we get another. Do you think we'll get another practice or one of the evenings where we can come out and showcase your wonderful ring?
Sure. As soon as the ice melts, because right now it's an ice rink, and they got the compressors on, and it's a full on ice rink just outside. But as soon as the compressors are off, this is actually the last day for it. Once the ice melts, we'll be ready to go. And as soon as that happens, we're just gonna lay down the flooring in the rink and get things started up. So hopefully we can get the flooring in soon, and we'll try to get a nice little scrimmage going before the leagues actually do start up. And you were mentioning about some of the hockey players out there kind of wondering what the pace is like, and you said some of the high school kids wondering too. And for anyone out there, really, it's great for quick decision making and making plays, and the ball's going to find you, the ball's in your stick, there's quick shots and things like that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to getting things going.
So Scully, are you saying that the small rink, because I remember being there was a larger rink, right,
Mhm.
corresponding, then the small rink where we played. Are you saying they have ice on the small rink?
Correct. Yes, it's a normal studio rink. So the rink a couple feet away is a full on NHL size sheet, and then right next to it here we have the studio rink, and they're both full on ice rinks. And some of the youth organizations play full on ice hockey games out there with referees and everything like that. Not on the studio rink, but the studio rink, they have some stick and puck, and some guys do some broom ball on there throughout the winter as well. So definitely a lot of good usage, and we're using it for the deck hockey here coming up in the spring.
So did they take the floor out temporarily?
Correct. So we
Wow.
have the flooring when we first got it in. We put in every single piece that we could, and then the along the corners, of course, we had to custom cut each individual tile so that it had that rounded
Right.
form. So now that we've already done it once, we've already gone through this full process, and basically we pull it up a couple of chunks at a time, like one giant puzzle, and throw it on a couple pallets and wheel it right on out of there. And so now we have it in storage, and once the ice is out, we take it and we put it down just like one big puzzle the way we took it up.
I'm pretty amazed at that. I didn't realize you would do that. I figured once the deck was down, it'd be down for good, but I guess that's a good thing because you take it out during the winter and it won't warp and be subject
Sure.
to the elements like Woodridge is. Woodridge is holding up,
Good.
but but yeah, I mean, I like to call the Glencoe rink Lego Arena. Just because the colors of the deck, it's got that feel to it. But
Lego Arena. All right. I like that one. I like that.
And that's great. Listen, for the viewers out there, you're tuned into season 2, episode 9 of TNZ. We got a special guest here. We have the owner and operator of Glencoe Deck Hockey League, John Scully. So, John, when do you anticipate? For those of you who are watching here, the website here is Glencoe Deck Hockey League.com.
Yep. Yes. Glencoe Deck Hockey, DEK Hockey.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And if you have any questions, just let us know. Put it on the comment section, and Scully will be able to answer them. So, Scully, tell us a little bit about what you're looking for in terms of registrations, number of teams. Maybe you can give us some information on where people that are interested can go out there and find valuable stuff. And we don't need to talk about cost unless you want to talk about that. That's up to you. But I'm looking at when do you want to get started, what the days of the week are, how many teams you're going to have, things that I think the viewers would be interested in learning.
Yes. So we're going to start up the week of April 6th. So that'll be Tuesday, April 6th would be our first day. And from there, it's going to be the month of April, May, and June. So it'll wrap up at the end of June. The leagues are going to be on weekday nights. So it's going to be either a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night. Times and days of the week can possibly vary. But, the teams that do sign up, we're working with them to see what works best for their schedule. If, hey, they got something else going on a Wednesday night or Monday or Tuesday, we'll work around that as best as possible. But Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are when we're going to have our adult leagues. The games are going to start at 6:30. There's game slots at either 6:30, 7:30, or 8:30 for the adult league. And then for those of you with kids out there or youth kids checking in, we're going to have a youth league starting up May 2nd. That'll be Sunday, May 2nd. The games will be in the mornings and continue on for 2 months as well. So for the adult leagues, though, we're looking to have a recreational league and more of a competitive league, depending on how many teams we sign up or what the skill level is. And, we can always kind of merge and then go from there. But looking to have a lot of good mixes of ages and talent levels so far. And we still have a week before the registration deadline to sign up. But yeah, so far so good.
No, that's great. And so, I like the days of the week. I think you're covered there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. A couple of guys I think are going to be tied up on the Wednesday, but then, like you said, you can be flexible to do those on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Absolutely.
And there's also the Thursday slot, which is great. Well, no, I think it's great. We're excited for you. This sounds like really well organized, and it sounds like something you put a lot of thought into. How can we help, or what are the things that Stomps and I and the rest of the community here can do to support this great initiative?
Sure. I just coming to check it out. Like I said, I think anyone who has been out there has really enjoyed it. And like I said, hopefully we'll get a couple scrimmages going in. But a lot of the information is on the website. But with you guys, you said you're looking at coming out here and getting some teams together and things like that. So just being on here with you guys today has been awesome for spreading the word and getting some information out there. And anyone who does have any questions, feel free to contact me. I got my number on there and my email. But like I said, getting on here with you guys has been great, and I really appreciate you getting the word out.
No, that's great. So we got Scully's number here. For those of you who are interested, Scully's really good with text messaging. Usually gets back to you within 24 hours. I think that's kind of a pretty good turnaround time. I know you must be getting a ton of text messages. 847-840-3855, right, Scully?
Correct.
And then another question for you, Scully, is everybody's kind of been migrated over to that the Team Chicago app, or what we'd like to call the team app.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have kind of talked about possibly getting some information on there. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think you want to put together an icon on there?
Sure, that sounds like a great idea. I know you mentioned it the other day, and it's something that would be great for getting information out there to people, and having a couple links, the schedule, the website, things like that, and having people be able to interact with it too. Or hey, we got something going on. Who can make it, who's in, who's out, comments, questions, things like that. So, like you said, getting the team app going, it's something we're going to look into and try to get rolling here
Sure.
fairly soon. So,
Eh,
thanks for recommending that.
No, no problem. And Stevie J's offered to help out as well. Also, I failed to say, you can also email Scully at glencoedeckhockey@gmail.com. No, we're really excited. Personally, for me, I like it. It's in the North Shore. It's not too far from me. I'm so used to traveling for games really far. To have something somewhat in my backyard is terrific. Stomps, you want to ask Scully any more questions, or Scully, you want to share anything more with the viewers?
I had just a couple more questions. So I would imagine when the leagues start, you're going to have the games officiated. Are you going to keep stats?
Yes.
People enjoy that kind of stuff.
Yes, for each game, we're going to have a referee and a scorekeeper. So there's the two bench areas, and we'll have the scorekeeper right in between that area, of course. And the scorekeeper, what we've done in some of our other locations is they'll have an iPad that is totally live. And so, Stomps, you score a goal assisted by Nav, scorekeeper comes over, or the referee goes over to the scorekeeper, lets them know who's in on the scoring play. Right there, boom, boom, boom. They tap it in on the iPad, and anyone else who might be checking in on the game on a device anywhere, you can see, hey, you guys just scored a goal, kind of thing, and so it's all updated right then and there.
Like
After the game, we'll have 3 stars of the game are listed on the website. Everyone who had goals, assists, all the stats are listed right there on the website. So you had a pretty good game, and you go to check in, and you go, hey, let me make sure I got my goals and my assists, and you look right there, and hey, there's my 2 goals and my 1 assist. And if you're missing an assist, you call us up and say, hey, can you fix that? And we'll fix that right away for you. So it's nice to have the stats in general, just to see where you're at, and you go, hey, what did I do last season? Okay, I had a couple points, and let's try to improve on that. Or maybe hey, I was scoring a lot of goals. Maybe we'll try to do some more playmaking. So it's nice that all those stats will be on the website for the individuals, and then even the goalies as well. So we have the shots on goal are counted, along with, of course, the goal scored, and then goalie save percentage. So even for the goalies out there, you're going to have your save percentage tracked, and all that'll be up there. So I do think people like looking at the stats and seeing where their progress is at.
I think listen, I think that's great. One of the things as you kind of advance your league, and I'm sure you're thinking about this, is you had a chance to listen to the DHS. What we did is we did a live stream.
Yes.
COVID, and we were actually doing play-by-play in color because because of the rules, as in some of the rinks right now, you can only have one spectator in some of the rinks. So like out in West Meadows, I think it's one. I think Lake Forest College, you couldn't even have one spectator. So a lot of these parents, they want to watch their kids play hockey. And I'm sure with Glencoe, if we get some of the high schoolers in there, it's currently the way I saw it is it's not as easy for spectators yet. I don't know if you're going to be changing that, but if you at some point, if you think about a live stream, it would be great to
Sure. That'd be fantastic. I'm all for it. We can get you there on the broadcast, and let everyone out there know what's going on, even if they're not able to be there in person.
That's our next project. Just so you know, Stomps and I were thinking about maybe doing a play-by-play color for one of the games in Palatine. We just got to see
Right.
if the Wi-Fi connection can. No.
Well, you guys are doing a fantastic job with this, so I'm sure it would be a seamless transition getting out of the rink.
Well, you're too kind. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try to do that for one of the games in Palatine, right, Stomps? I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
And we'll let you all be the judge of that. You know what I mean? And maybe we can do one for Glencoe as a pilot if you'd want. Like maybe one of the games where Stomps and I aren't playing, and it's a
Sure
night, and we can help out. We're always here to help.
I'm all for it. I really appreciate it. Same thing here. If you guys need anything, I'm in.
Back
Hey,
to you, Stomps.
Scully, I know you first things first, you want to get the leagues rolling. Are you kind of thinking ahead to maybe having tournaments?
Yes. So right now we're focused on getting the leagues going, and as long as we get a good chunk of teams in there, I think there's going to be enough room to have a tournament there. So we're going to try to have our spring season, and possibly after that at a later date. And I know that there's a lot of other people from our other deck hockey locations that are part of the National Deck Hockey Association, from either the Waterloo location, the Quad City location, Springfield location, that have been asking about a Glencoe tournament. So I think that would be a nice way to get everyone here involved in the tournament, and then also welcome the other people from the other locations. And I think we get a good turnout right away from it, and be able to really showcase what's going on at Glencoe.
Yeah, this is great stuff. I'm kind of amazed how all of these floor hockey or deck hockey opportunities are suddenly cropping up in the Chicago area. It's pretty unbelievable. I mean, between Palatine, you got your Glencoe thing, you got Woodridge, you got the NBHL is going to start up on the south side. You got Carroll Stream. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of opportunities.
It's great to see all these leagues popping up, and it sounds like pretty much every day of the week there's a chance to play some kind of ball, street, deck, floor hockey, and it's really great. So someone's looking to play once or 8 or 7 times a week, they can do it.
Right. Hey, Scully and Stomps, speaking of outdoor leagues or rinks, I was telling this to Scully and Stomp, both of you guys. Solomon, my son, he's actually out there with a couple of the Deerfield guys. They're playing outdoor right now at Buffalo Grove. They have another outdoor deck hockey. They actually do roller out there, but you can do deck hockey there too, which
Very
isn't
nice.
too far. It's just maybe 10 miles, maybe 8, 10 miles away from you, Scully.
All right. It's that's the ice hockey, roller hockey, floor hockey, whatever kind of hockey it is. Good to see people out there do it, especially these days when it's a little tougher to do, but it seems to be a nice setup for them doing that.
Absolutely. Stomps, you got anything more for Scully?
No, I think we covered it. I think all of this is really excellent news. Can't wait to see it get started. I think it's going to be a premier league in the area for sure.
Yeah, we're pretty thrilled, man. We were excited to have you on the show. But Scully, you don't get to leave that easily. When you join TNZ, we always ask you some real tough questions.
Let's do it.
So we're gonna start off with a real softball here for you.
Uh-oh.
So we'd like to hear 3 of your favorite go-to restaurants. We try to support on TNZ. We try to support the small businesses, especially during COVID and the crisis. So we like to support them, and I'm sure you're a man of fine culinary taste. So we'd like to ask you a little bit about what your favorite. You don't have to have 3. If you have 1 or 2, that's fine too.
Yeah, I don't know how fine my taste is. I usually stick with a few things, but the good things. Something like Gino's East deep dish pizza. That's one of my favorites. So there's all the debate, this pizza, that pizza, but all the deep dish pizzas are good in my book.
Is there a Gino's East in particular that you go
to? Nothing too specific. I know they have a couple different locations around, but I remember going to the original Gino's East location in Chicago as a kid and just thinking, you can write on the walls here. That's pretty awesome. People are carving in there, Sharpie everywhere. So a nice little personal touch from pretty much everyone who's ever gone to a Gino's East.
That's awesome. No, that's great. So Gino's East, we'll put that on the list. We'll tag them as one of Scully's favorite go-tos.
All right.
In terms of, are you a big? Let's talk a little bit about your entertainment interests. So, are you a Netflix guy, Hulu, Amazon Prime? What's your go-to?
That's
you're a busy guy. So if you tell me you don't watch any TV, I'd believe.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I don't have a subscription to any of those actually. I'll try to tune into the Hawks here and there and follow up on their progress. And just watching a lot of hockey, a lot of sports. So no real TV shows that I've been able to get into lately. I'm just a pretty big sports guy, whether that's hockey or any other sports. I'll usually follow that pretty heavily. One of the other things I actually do get pretty into is the MotoGP. It's kind of like the Formula One for motorcycles. So that's a little easier to follow because it's Sunday mornings every week or every other week. So that's a little bit easier to keep track of. So I guess you could say that's my TV show.
That's pretty awesome. Stumps, you got any tough ones you want to throw Scully's way? I'm putting you on the spot.
This isn't a tough one. You were talking about back in the '90s. You were a Hawk fan. Who was your guy?
That's a good one. I was a big Jeremy Roenick and Steve Sullivan fan.
Steve
Wow,
Sullivan, ex-Leafs as
Sully.
well. He also played on the Leafs.
All right, yeah, Leafs in Nashville, I think.
Predators, yeah.
And the Devils too.
That's right.
A
Yeah,
small guy though, right? Small guy, but oh man.
Yeah, he get in there and had a lot of skill and toughness as well. So it was always nice to see him doing well.
Yeah, that he was a great guy. In terms of some of the guys you've played with here, ball hockey. I know you played with a couple of teams that Lou's put together. I remember the first time seeing you out there, I was just like, wow, does this guy even belong here? But I mean, not because of the red hair. I'm talking about the talent. but I will tell you, toughest goalie you faced.
That's a really, really good one.
In our little world. Don't worry, you won't offend anyone.
I'd have to say either Billy or Adam.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. All right. I'm sure they'd both be happy to hear that.
It's Billy, he'll let you know when he makes a save too, which is always, he stones you and he'll flash the glove at you, and you can't even really be too mad at him that he stopped you because he's always got a quick little joke for you. You're like, all right, he got me this time.
Yeah. I remember we were out there in the summer. You and me, and I think Stomps was there too. We were playing in that rink and where is that? Stomps, up by where you used to live when you were younger.
Norwood Park.
Yeah, Norwood Park. I remember you and you were on the same team or something. I took a slap shot. Remember what you and Billy were calling me? Morgan.
Morgan Riley. Morgan Riley just walking at the blue line, teeing it up.
No, man, we've enjoyed having you on the show, Scully. It's been a real treat for us, and this is the perfect show to have after a 3-week absence. We're just honored that you would take time out of your busy schedule after everything you've been doing and getting set up for. You're always welcome back on the Neutral Zone anytime.
Thanks so much, guys. I really, really, really appreciate it. It's nice to see the traction you guys have gotten, getting PNZ going and having some fun with it and getting some good exposure to the hockey world.
Any more things to say, Stomps, before we close?
No, we appreciate having you, Scully, and we'll definitely have you back once Glencoe gets up and running. We can report back on some exciting stuff for people to check out. We look forward to that for sure.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
Pleasure's ours. Scully, please stick around for the post-game show. We're just going to log off of Facebook Live. For all the viewers out there, you tuned in today to Season 2, Episode 9 of TNZ with a very special guest, John Scully, President, owner, and operator of Glencoe Deck Hockey League. So thank you very much, and we're going to close. Welcome to the world we live in.